So this is one of those questions where you're going to have a very similar question to what's on the practice exam. The practice exam for these students, your practice exam, this number was 2010 and I just changed it to 2013. Other than that, it's the same question. Hence the footnote at the beginning of the exam, warning them to make sure they read all the questions thoroughly. So if you don't immediately see that this is an integral question, you can just read through and sort of think about what's going on. What we've got is annual production in megawatts, okay? And then you want to know where T is in years since 2000. Estimate the total production between T is equal to 2000, which is T is equal to 0, and T is equal to 13. And if you are confused about what that means, because a year is a full year, it's not a single point. So if that bothers you, anything like that bothers you during the exam, come ask me and I'll probably tell you, okay, just do whatever you want, but make a note on the paper that we had this discussion. Okay. So the point is, if you've been practicing the practice exam, you would just say, oh, I'm going to use 13 instead of 10, and you wouldn't worry about that. Okay. So we're going to just integrate this. So let's write down the function. 0 to 13. Okay. The family of functions is e to the t, or 2 to the t, or e to the 3t. All those things are in the same kind of family. They are their own integrals and they are their own derivatives. It's just that you have to be careful what gets kicked out in the process. Okay, so you automatically know that your integral is going to be e to the 0.368t, but there's going to be some constant kicked out. If you were taking the derivative, you'd kick out 0.368. So you're still going to kick out 0.368, but it's going to be in a denominator over here. Okay? And so let's go ahead and pull out the calculator and figure out what that is. That's 277 divided by 0.368. And if you still remember the practice exam, you'll say, oh yeah, that's a number I feel familiar with. I think we did that before. And then it's going to be e to the 13 times 0.368. And then what happens when you pop the 0 in? E to the 0 is 1. Okay, remember some of the things you have to memorize. Natural log of 1 is 0, and e to the 0 is 1. It's the same fact, but you should memorize it twice because, well, it'll be faster if you memorize it twice. Okay. So let's figure out what this exponent is right here. 13 times 0.368. And it gives you 4.784. Okay. Then we can go ahead and say e to the power of e to the power of 4.784 equals minus 1. That minus 1 isn't going to do us much good. And then multiply by this constant out front. Okay. And then we get 89. What was that number? 256.4. And what do we have? Megawatts, because that's what the problem says.